So did you walk to the stadium? No.
No. It was about a half an hour drive.
Wow. For those who are coming in, thank you so much. We are just going to wait a minute or two for everyone to get dragged in, as it takes a couple of minutes, and we are really excited for this one. I mean, Jimmy, sometimes you schedule a conversation like this and you know that the content's going to be worthwhile, and then sometimes you schedule a conversation like this and a World Cup hero happens to be the one that you're speaking 2 days later, and that's not bad at all.
It's fantastic. Yes, and I'm being a little futuristic as we've got father and sons here, and I know Shaun's now got a few youngsters around the place. So that's the next thing we can plan in another 20 years, I suppose. Having 3 generations on, but 2's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, we're going year to year, month to month on these things. You're going 20 years. I like it. I like where your head's at.
You always got to look ahead, yeah.
All right. Well, we will we'll get this underway officially. I'm pretty sure most people will be brought in. And so a formal welcome once again. Thank you so much. Number 3 in our monthly webinar series for this year, after the success of last year. This year has been awesome as well. Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon, Ricky Ponting, the last one. And this one we can't wait for. The Marsh Family Affair. Geoff, Shaun and Mitch, as you can see right there. Now, before we chat to the guys, big thank you to our sponsors, obviously brought to you by the Primary Club of Australia, the Cricketers Charity, but our sponsors, Vocus Communications, Australia's leading fibre and network solutions company. We're about making things better, simpler and easier. And a big shout out to all the Vocus customers as well, partners and staff who are on the call this evening. We love having you, and we in particular love your enthusiastic donations during the auction, so keep coming. Of course, the sponsors product, which is keeping us particularly hydrated during lockdown and beyond. And Ponting wines were so good last time, and hopefully you have yours ready to go. The Entertainment Quarter in Sydney, next door to the SCG, hosting events and trade shows. The Fox Theatre there as well. Obviously, we have the Test Breakfast coming up as well, which we'll talk more about closer to that, but that is perfect. And Jim, of course, to you. Thank you so much as well as President of the Primary Club, making yourself available again. How are you, buddy?
Well, I think the mushrooms are still growing between my toes. It's been pretty wet here, which has mucked up the Shield game at the SCG. They didn't get any play on Sunday, and I think it's fizzled out this evening with Victoria chasing over 200. That's no surprise. But anyway, from a New South Wales viewpoint, given that this is the first time in history that Victoria and New South Wales have played 3 Sheffield Shield games in one season, what can I say? We didn't lose this one. So we got a draw out of it. But it's an up. Look, it's really up and down here in Sydney. When people talk about wet cities, I have to put my hand up and say, yeah, sorry, Sydney is one of the wet cities of the world. We get more rain here than Manchester, you know. Manchester, it takes 5 times as long for the rain to hit the ground, but it can get terribly wet here, and that's the story at the moment. But other than that, you know, we've been used to living in a cave, haven't we, Matt, for the last 5 months? Not as bad as Victoria, but always find something to do.
For those who have signed up or are new, a big welcome to you. Thank you as well. $50 a year it costs to join the Primary Club, and you get access to things like this, and this is awesome. Whoa.
Very good.
Sorry.
Dad, where are you?
As intimate a way as possible. The Marsh family, I mean, this is, you talk about a family affair. They've appeared in 419 internationals representing Australia, scoring over 16,100 runs between them. Mitch, 107 wickets as a medium pace bowler and a World Cup hero. Geoff Marsh, opening batter for Australia. Shaun Marsh, 38 tests for Australia. Mitch Marsh, the Bison, the younger brother, recently helped Australia to that awesome T20 win. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
nice
guys.
to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Great to be here.
Lovely to see you in the Primary Club shirts as well, Shaun. I mean, it's it does great work, this charity, but thank you for supporting it.
Look, it's great to be back on the show again. Great to be a part of the Primary Club, and it's great to be an ambassador for them.
What actually, before we get into that, as people are already starting to ask questions, let's just do the housekeeping very quickly. Works is the same as always, guys. We've got a couple of auction items, some sensational ones, so we want to get your bids because the money goes to a great cause. But if you've got any questions for either or all three of these guys, use the question and answer, use the Q&A feature, and use the chat feature to make your bids for the auction items. The first one, I'll tell you what the three are. Should I tell them what the three are or go individually? Jim, what do you reckon?
No, you've got to whet the appetite. Keep them going. Get the bids going early. Yeah.
Auction item number one, and we're going to open this right now. It's going to run for 15 minutes. It's a one-day cap signed by all three of these gentlemen. Now, it could be Shaun's, could be Mitch's, came out of Geoff's garage. But we don't know, and we're not going to find out specifically. But that one is open right now. Hey, Geoff, we'll start with you as the patron of. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you. And how's Hobart at the moment?
Great to be on the show. Hobart's been great. We've got a great shield game going on down here at the moment. Weather's been really nice to us. Hopefully that'll continue tomorrow, and there'll be a result either way in this shield game. But no, it's been very good. And
Mitch, where are you in quarantine at the moment?
I'm on the Gold Coast. We flew straight from Dubai to here last Tuesday. So halfway through my quarantine, and hopefully it's my last.
On a scale of 10 to sober, where are you right now?
I'm completely sober now. I can't say that was the case for the first 2 days in quarantine after winning the World Cup, but unfortunately, I had to turn the tap off, mate, and get back to work.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to chat about that. There's obviously a huge amount to talk about. The other two auction items is Shaun's provided, this is unreal, an Australian Test shirt that he wore in the 2018-2019 India series. You remember this one? We skittled India in Adelaide for about 36, and then it went down to the wire. So thank you so much, Shaun, for that. And then the final auction item, Mitch, what have you thrown up? This is very, very generous of you.
Yeah, I've got a pair of my gloves that I wore in the World Cup final. So I thought that'd be a decent auction item, and hopefully someone can enjoy those.
All right. Well, as we say, auction item number one is open right now. That's the one-day cap signed by all three of the Marsh boys. That's going to run until about 8:15. But so much to talk about. And Jim, I don't even know where you want to start, so I'll just let you go, and I'm going to grab the sponsor's product and settle in.
Well, thank you to the Marsh family and to everyone who's on board. I can't see you all out there, but I assume that you're enjoying yourself, as a few of us are, with a little refreshment as we go through the evening, and that you're keen to donate some more funds to the primary club, which of course is a sporting charity that looks after the disabled by providing equipment, all sorts of resources, and have been doing it since 1974. So if you can find a way to be part of all that, if you're not a member, you can go online and sign up somewhere along. So let's have a chat. We need to show respect, of course, for our elders. That seems to be the tradition in Australia now. If you don't mind me saying so, Geoff. And this is a bit slightly uncomfortable as I make a start, because I don't know whether your boys realise this, but you're probably one of the reasons why organisations like the Primary Club, which base most of their subscription around the fact that someone gets out for a first ball duck, and you managed to achieve that pretty impressively on your first class debut at the SCG for WA by getting a golden pair. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, I remember that Gary Gilmore got me, but I remember after the day's play, Ross Edwards bought me in a bottle of red wine, and it had Marsh's Estate on it. So he presented that to me after the game. So yeah, I remember that. It was a tough start to the SCG, but had many great memories after that.
Yes, well, I mean, it is fair to say that you can't judge anyone on a first ball duck, because if they haven't spent enough time out there for you to make any assessments. So you're a bit stiff, really, at the start. Did it unnerve you at that point of your career to be rubbed out and such a quick fashion twice in a match?
Well, you don't actually get any time to think, as you said, Jim. So you walk through the gates of the SCG, and it's the greatest moment you'll have. And then you walk out there, and you're really looking forward to it. And within seconds, you're walking back. So, and I did that twice. So it was a little bit sad, but there's not a lot you can do about it. It happened, and I think it made me even stronger in the future.
Yes, you were pretty strong at the start. Hadn't you spent most of your life from the time you could walk, having your old man or someone bowl you on a concrete pitch for 15 or 20 years until you made that debut?
Yeah, I was at private school in Perth, and when I left school, my dad said, "You better come back to the farm and do some work." He said, "I'll build you a practice wicket down there, buy you a bowling machine, and you got to work from 7 o'clock in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon, and then you can knock off and you can go and have a hit on the bowling machine." And I was allowed to travel down to Perth on a Wednesday evening to train with the state squad, and come back and then go down on Friday and play club cricket. And he said, if you make it into the Australian team, you can go back to Perth. So I did that for 4 or 5 years with Michelle on the farm, and ran every morning at 6 o'clock, and ran after I had a hit. I was so determined to want to play for Australia that it eventually happened, and we moved back to Perth.
Yes, you're still running?
Well, I'm walking. I'm
Definitely
walking every
not.
morning. I'm walking every morning in Hobart over that massive bridge they got down here. But the running days are probably gone. The knees are sort of a little bit sorer than what they were 20, 30 years ago.
So this discipline you brought on yourself, did you try it on Mitch and Shaun? Were they accepting of this discipline that was required?
Well, I think they saw me running every morning and every night, thought I was bloody stupid, you know. But anyway, I'm sure they run. Mitch runs along the beach in Perth, and Shaun's always out having a jog occasionally. So, you know, it's just one of those things you had to do to, you know, when I was growing up, that's all we did on the farm. There wasn't anywhere I could go to the gym or anywhere like that. So my next door neighbour was a marathon runner. So I used to meet him down the gate, and mind you, I had to run 2K to get to his gate, and then we'd take off, and we'd run out for about 4 or 5 Ks, and he'd tell me to turn around, and then he'd run on a little bit, and then he'd try to chase me down. So that was really my fitness back on the farm growing up.
Yes, very impressive start to it all. So I'm just wondering, you're talking about the farm there. Is this anything that's lingering in the family? Does anyone have any desire to get onto the farm, the land, or is that ancient history now for the Marsh family?
Yeah, no, sadly, the farm was sold. So everyone moved on. My dad passed away, and my brother moved down south. So yeah, it was a little sad to see the farm go, because there's a lot of, well, from my point of view, a lot of history there. A lot of great memories of, you know, getting up early in the morning and you know, going out and you know, and practicing on the bowling machine on the farm, and you know, it's still there today. I drive down to Wandering and go out the farm and have a look, and it's still there, the old practice wicket and that. So there are great memories there, but no, farming's moved on in our family.
What did you farm, just before we go? What did you have on the farm?
We were sheep farmers.
Sheep farmers.
We grew a bit of oats and barley and that. So yeah, we had 6,000 acres, which is a big farm.
Yeah.
It was a great farm, yeah. But yeah, sadly that's gone now.
So Mitch and Shaun, do you have any memory of your father's connection with the land when you were little? Did you go there?
Yeah, Jim. You know, I still remember that we had plenty of family trips down there, and I used to love going down to the farm, and Nan and Pop were down there, and every school holidays we used to go down there, and Yeah, it was so much fun as a kid going down there and shearing the sheep and riding the motorbikes, and we had so many great memories down there with our cousins as well. So, like Dad said, it was really sad when the farm was sold. But like Dad said, we get down there every now and then. We've got some friends that live in Boddington, and every time we go down there, we make sure we go to Wandering and drive past the old farm and reminisce on all the great memories we had down there.
And Mitch, you have similar recollections?
Yeah, I was a little bit too young to have a lot of memories at the farm, certainly while Dad was running. But yeah, like Shaun, plenty of school holidays there, and any chance I got down to the farm to be with Nan and Pop and to be with my cousins who were living on the farm at the time. So yeah, a lot of good memories. But Jim, I'm certainly no farmer, mate. I'm a city boy.
Yeah, well, that happens to most of them. But yeah, just reflecting on that history, though. I mean, you're not going to be playing cricket forever. Shaun, Mitch, do you have any idea what you might do when you've stopped playing cricket? I mean, it sounds like a farm's not on your agenda. What is?
Yeah, definitely won't be farming, Jim, that's for sure. Like Dad said and Mitch said, yeah, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do after cricket. I'm probably a little bit closer than Mitch is, but yeah, look, it's something that I'm probably thinking a little bit more that now than I was maybe a few years ago. I love the game of cricket.
Three children? You got 3 children?
I've got 3 children now. I've got a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 10-month year old or 10-month baby, and yeah, my 5-year-old boy loves his cricket. He's right into, the Big Bash, and he knows every single player basically in all the teams throughout the Big Bash. So look,
does he get it?
Yeah, does
he get that you're you, like that his dad is Shaun Marsh?
Well, he likes all the other players apart from me. So he loves Finchy. He loves Kane Richardson. He loves all the Scorchers boys. He still can't believe that I left the Scorchers, but yeah, look, he loves all the other players more than he loves me, probably.
Jim, just very quickly, 3 minutes left for the cap at $200. Noel Ford has the top bid at the moment, which is a nice bid. Let's see if we can go up from there. 3 minutes until we close the cap.
Yeah, keep bidding, folks. Don't be distracted by all of the conversation as much as you might be enjoying it. Don't forget to put up some bids. And what about you, Mitch? I mean, you're 31. You're not even thinking about tomorrow, are you? You're just enjoying it after what happened the other day in the T20 final. My goodness.
Yeah, Jim, just firstly, mate, I'm going to have to pull you up there. I know I'm getting old, but I'm only 30, mate. And
sorry.
The difference between 30 and 31 when you're playing cricket is a lot, mate. So any of the selectors are out there, I'm only 30. So, but yeah, look, for me, I've never really studied. I went straight out of year 12 and debuted for Western Australia. And I guess growing up, cricket was always what I wanted to do. And it's been the case for the last, coming on 14 years now. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what I'll do post-cricket. I'm hopeful that I've got another 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 if my body allows me to have a think about it. But yeah, not really too sure. Maybe I'll be a ABC commentator, mate.
Well, you're welcome. You just put your hand up when you're ready.
All right.
You're not ready for it yet. Now, I don't want to get this wrong. Shaun, you're 38?
38, Jim. Yes, correct.
38. Okay. Now, let me give you a little stat, which tells you how long people stay in the game now. This is the number, right? Listen to this. 10 years ago, Pat Cummins made his debut as an 18-year-old for Australia in a test match. Mitch, you played in the game the other day, the final, and who was the youngest player in that team? Pat Cummins.
Pat Cummins.
28.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
There you go.
This is very much an aging game. And it's interesting to reflect on that because when T20 started, we all assumed, it's a bloody young man's game and all that. They'll be hitting the ball over the fence and doing all the chasing and the rest of it. But in fact, I reckon Australia had on average the oldest side in the T20. So, this is the story of cricket more and more, isn't it? that people are staying in the game.
Yeah.
Obviously because they love it, but it's what they do.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you say that. I remember when I first started playing cricket as a 17-year-old for Western Australia, I thought if I got to 30, that'd be a pretty good career. And I think with the opportunities now with T20 cricket coming onto the scene, and guys are playing for a lot longer. You see that all around the world. Guys are playing into their late 30s now, and I guess there's so many more opportunities in this day and age that guys want to try and continue to play for as long as they can. And as long as your body's fit and you're healthy, there's no reason why you can't keep playing late into your 30s.
Tim, can I just stop you there? We've just hit the closing time for the first auction. Now, it was $200 with Noel. At the last second, Pete and Sue, 220 came in. Geoff, do you happen to have another cap back there that we could get the boys to sign, and maybe we could sell two of them for the $200 for Noel and for Pete and Sue?
Yeah, mate, I've
got one.
I've
got one here.
Yeah.
Done. Perfect. So Noel, thank you so much. $200. Pete and Sue, 200. If you want to throw the extra 20 in as well, thank you. So that's closed. We go to item number 2, which is the Shaun Marsh signed test shirt from 2018-19. That was an amazing series. What are your memories of one of the most competitive Border Gavaskar series we've ever seen?
Yeah, look, it was a great series. I think we're on the wrong side of it at the end of the day. But look, playing against India in Australia is always a really great challenge for us. And unfortunately, they sort of outplayed us in that series. And there wasn't a lot of great memories there, but still playing for your country, getting an opportunity to go out there and have a crack was fantastic. And unfortunately, we lost that series.
I mean, you rolled India for 36. That was on the golf course at that time. Every text message group you've ever been in with the boys were like, get yourself around the television right now.
Yeah, look, it was unbelievable, really. After that first test, we were 1-0 up, and to roll them for 36 in that game was outstanding. Then we went to Perth and we lost there, and sort of fell off a little bit after that. But to bowl out a team for 36 in a test match was pretty impressive.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. Carry on.
No worries. So while we're talking about what's just happened, just a bit on the approach you take to batting, probably comparing T20 to the slower form of the game, the more absorbing form of the game, Test cricket. When you went out the other day, Mitch, and you went 6-4-4, was that just sheer instinct, or was it something you had in your mind to take the bowling on from word go?
Probably a little bit of both, Jim. I think I've said a few times since that game, I had a conversation with Andrew McDonald, our assistant coach, probably in March earlier this year. And that conversation was based around having the mentality to go from ball one. And if I can do that, then I can become easier to select in our team. At that stage, I was batting down the order. But you become a different proposition for the opposition as well. So that conversation sort of struck something in me to go away and work on that. And I've worked on it for 6 months, day in, day out when I'm at training, going from ball one and having that mentality. Obviously to go out there in the World Cup final, and I certainly didn't go out there thinking I was going to hit my first ball for 6, but I certainly had great confidence in my ability to go out there and get stuck in. And I guess, after my first 3 balls, I was away.
Yes, I was up in the middle of the night, like a lot of other people watching it. I think it's one of the best partnerships in a crunch game I've ever seen. What were your feelings out there with Warner? Because the execution in so many ways was just superb. Running between wickets, judgment of which ball to go after. How do you rate that partnership in particular?
Yeah, I had a few partnerships with Bull, with Dave Warner throughout the World Cup, and I think we just gained a lot of confidence batting with each other. The partnership itself was just amazing. To bat with Dave Warner, he's quite intense. He gets in the contest, he shouts, he punches your glove, he hugs you, he tells you to keep going. And probably at the time, it's not. I wouldn't say it's fun because you're in the contest. You're trying to get the run rate down. You're keeping an eye on that. You know that you've got the game right on the line, right there. It's right there for the taking. So you're just sort of in the moment. And probably not until after the match you sort of realise how good a partnership it was, and how much fun it was at the time. There was a great atmosphere at the ground. Early, the first few overs, the ground was almost empty, and then it just filled up and got really loud, and it was great atmosphere to be a part of. So, the partnership with Davey was, it was just awesome.
It was wonderful to watch. I enjoyed, all of you at the end of the game, but Marcus Stoinis talking about how you all love each other. Was that slightly overstating it?
Oh, no, there's plenty of love. It's plenty of love. I think, as much as we joke about that sort of stuff, there was a lot of love in that team. And the team we played in the World Cup hasn't actually played a lot of cricket in recent times together. T20, that we play so much cricket these days, especially the guys who play in all three formats, that often they're rested for the T20 tours. But around that, we have played a lot of cricket together over the last 10 years. A lot of guys have played juniors together. So to come together for the World Cup, and I think that bond and the love we had, the want to do well for each other, that's what wins your tournaments. That's the glue. Obviously, there's a lot of skill involved in our team, but that was the glue for us in the end, I think.
Is there a rub-off for the Ashes out of a win like that gives you a bit more of an adrenaline surge for retaining the Ashes, you think?
I'm hopeful, yeah. I think I'll probably be in the stands having a couple of beers watching the Ashes, but
well, you might be out in the middle.
You never know, Jim. You never know. I'm hopeful that it will, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty special bond to think that we're the first Australian team to win a T20 World Cup. It's something that we'll share with each other forever, and hopefully the guys can take that momentum into what's going to be obviously a huge summer. Just
before we go around the family, just on the chemistry, what difference has Andrew McDonald and Michael Di Venuto made in the sort of mentoring of the team and taking the pressure perhaps off Justin Langer in his role?
Yeah, it's certainly something that they do, that's for sure. I mean, Andrew McDonald's just a ripping man. I love that bloke. He's super smart cricket-wise, and in general. I wouldn't tell him that though, but he's always got great plans. He helps us prepare and plan so that when we get out to the middle, it's really easy. And he loves winning, loves being around the Australian team. Michael Di Venuto is the same. I mean, there's no doubt that his relationship with Stephen Smith, when he started to go bananas in international cricket, that relationship and that bond with them two is really special. And he shares that bond with a lot of us guys. I mean, he's been incredible for me the last 6 months. There's no surprises there. Working with him again, really calming influence. I think as batters, no matter what level you play at, you've always got a bit of head noise. You've always want to get off the mark. You always want to score runs and all that sort of stuff. And Diver allows you to just go out there and enjoy the game, take it on. And I think they're both really good for JL. Take a bit of the stress away from him and get stuck in.
Okay, we better go to the rest of the family. First of all, Geoff, no doubt you were watching it all. What was your assessment of the Australian performance, given that they look like going sideways after being rissoled by England for 125 early in the tournament?
Yeah, well, I think when you go back to the West Indies and Bangladesh, they were disappointing tours prior to the World Cup, but the World Cup was the first time that we had our full support staff together. It was the first time that, as Mitch said, that had a full team. The first 11 guys or the first 15 guys, best T20 players in Australia together. And I think that made a big difference to the World Cup. They were able to spend like 6 weeks together, and as Mitch said, they've all grown up together, played underage tournaments together, but they seem to just click as a group, and that's the thing that got them through at the end. There was obviously, they felt the pressure of inconsistent performances over the last 2 years. But once they all got together, they had one common goal together, and that was to work together and execute the talent that they had. And they had a very, very talented side, and they executed that really well. And as the tournament went on, it got better and better and better. And you only have to look at that side and look at someone like Ash Agar, who's rated probably 1, 2, or 3 in the world at his skill, and couldn't get into that side. So you bring the best T20 players in Australia, and we've spent so much time with Big Bash watching players and players getting better and better. It was just great to see them all together with our number one support staff who are supporting Justin Langer, and it was a brilliant tournament for us.
So, Shaun, no doubt you were watching it all. We sort of put this alleged monkey myth to bed now about not being a good T20 side?
Oh, I think we definitely have. To win a World Cup definitely puts that to bed. I was just so proud of the guys. I was so proud of Mitch. They were under a little bit of pressure at the start of the tournament, and to come out and play the way they did, it was outstanding. And I was super proud of them. I was super proud of Mitch to come out and do that right throughout the tournament. Even after he missed that England game, to come back and to perform the way he did, it takes a lot of character. And as I said, to see him do that in the World Cup final, I think the whole family was super proud of him, and hopefully the whole of Australia was too.
Okay, here we go. It's a slightly more left field question, getting away from that. I'm wondering who's going to answer this one first. We'll go with seniority. Australia's next Test captain, Geoff, who will it be?
Well, if Tim's not the captain for the first, he's not going to be the captain.
Yeah.
But we've had Paddy Cummins has been the assistant vice captain.
Yep.
By the selectors and by the cricket board. He has to become the captain, in my view.
Okay. Shaun, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Pat, obviously, like Dad said, he's the vice captain of the Australian team at the moment. So, I'd love to see Pat get the nod. I think he's a fantastic player. He's been a fantastic player for a long period of time. He's made the right character, to be the next Test captain, and I'm sure he'll thrive at the opportunity if he's selected.
Mitch, you were there in South Africa when things went pear-shaped. Where are they going to go? They're going to go with Pat Cummins. They're going to go back to Steve Smith. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be Paddy Cummins. Paddy's one of my best mates in cricket. Has been since we met basically 10 years ago in South Africa. And I think he'll be the right man for the job. He's got great respect in the playing group, really smart cricket brain. And I dare say he'll get the nod.
He's got all the credentials, but of course, many people say fast bowlers, no, you can't really have them as captain because they always get injured. But Pat's been pretty resilient, actually, hasn't he?
Well, touch wood, yeah. Since his early, back problems, which all young fast bowlers do have, he's been incredible, really. 5-match Test series. He plays all of them. He gets rested from the odd white ball game, which is fair, but Test matches, to be able to have done what he's done over the last few years and consistently play and do well, just runs in hard all day. It's pretty incredible.
Yes, well, he's an ambassador for the primary club too, and he seems a very cool human being. Have any of you ever seen him do his rag?
I haven't.
Yeah, look, I played a lot of golf with him in Dubai throughout the World Cup, and there is a bit of a temper there, but I'm not sure it's on the cricket field, and I'm certainly sure that he's not alone when it comes to golf.
True. Yes. How are we going in the bidding there, Matt?
We're at $500 for the shirt. Andy, thank you so much. We've got 5 minutes remaining on the shirt. We're going to go higher than that. People like to sit and wait, but $500 is where we're at.
All right. Just a note about the cricket, and it is to me the kind of strength and weakness of cricket. That on the one hand we've got these wonderful variations between T20, 50 over, Test cricket, first-class cricket, 10-over cricket, the 100. What pressure is it putting on the future of something we regard as important, Test cricket? Do you think Shaun, you start. You think we got the balance right with the way the game is?
I think so, Jim. I think obviously with T20 cricket coming on board now, like I said before, there's a lot more opportunities for young cricketers coming through. But I reckon if you ask every single cricketer in Australia, what the pinnacle is, I reckon 99% of them would say Test cricket. It's still, it's still the one that every player wants. They want the baggy green. They want to play Test match cricket for their country. I've got no doubt, every cricketer out there still aspires to be a Test cricketer for Australia.
Mitch, yep. What do you think? Given that you just had a major moment in your career with T20, you still obviously have ambitions to be playing Test cricket. How do you see the mix of all these forms of the game at the moment?
Yeah, I must admit, Jim, I had my first hit after the World Cup today, and it was a red ball cricket. And I left my first ball, and I just thought, this is too boring for me. I think I'm done. I'm only joking, but I think, it's a difficult one. I'll echo Shaun. There's no doubt every cricketer wants to play Test match cricket. It's the ultimate challenge. Every young cricketer playing Shield cricket wants to earn a baggy green. That's why we all play. I think T20 cricket certainly changed the landscape of our game with how many tournaments and leagues, and ultimately how much money people can make these days. So I think if anything in the future, probably one day cricket will come under a fair bit of stress due to the amount of T20 cricket that's been played. But ultimately, I think that Test cricket will remain forever. Certainly, there's no player in the current climate that will allow that to die. So Test cricket's certainly the pinnacle.
3 minutes remaining as well. Sorry, Jimmy, for that Test shirt. 3 minutes remaining. $500 the top bid. Shaun mentioned as well privately that it's his last Test shirt at this point. Let's not close the door. But his last Test shirt and his last Test series, so a collector's item, no doubt. So 3 minutes remaining on that one. $500 a bid, but we can definitely do better.
Yeah, well, that leads to the question, of course, with Cam Green in the 11 probably at the moment. I mean, is the spot for you his or somewhere else? How do you feel you can get into that Test 11 this summer?
Yeah, look, there's no doubt the A game's a fairly big audition for everyone playing that game. 5-game series is a long series, and you never know what can happen. Cam Green's he's a hell of a talent. For a 20-year-old to have as many first-class hundreds as he does already, it's just incredible. His temperament for the long format of the game is up there with the best in the world, and I really think he's going to have hopeful that he has a breakout Ashes series. Ultimately, I'm probably vying for the same spot as him at this point in time, but for me to get back in is probably as a batsman, and the only way to do that is scoring lots of runs. I'm not going to have a lot of opportunity to play a lot of red ball cricket. I've got the A game and that's it. But ultimately, if I keep scoring runs in all formats, hopefully I can press for selection one day. I'm also in no great rush. Obviously, I want to be playing every game for cricket for Australia that I possibly can. But the times in my career that I've looked too far forward and tried way too hard to press for selection and think I've got to score runs here, it actually takes away from the enjoyment of the game. And I really think that the last sort of 6 to and even going back 12, 18 months, I've found a way to just love the game and love competing. And that's what I love most. It's competing for Western Australia or even Fremantle when I get a chance to go back there. So that's all I'll focus on now. And hopefully I'll get another opportunity this summer or in summers to come.
Well, you're in rare form. Let's hope it happens, because you're such an entertaining player. And what about Dad? What's he feel? What does Mitch have to do, if anything, to win a spot in the team, given that it's clear at the moment that it's Marsh versus Green?
Yeah, I think the important thing is, as Mitch has said, he's got to enjoy his cricket. He knows that he's got limited opportunities now. It's not like he can play 5 Shield games now that he's back from the World Cup and put his name forward. He's got one Australia A game, and then he's got the Big Bash, and all he can do is keep performing and wait for an opportunity. I don't think it's Marsh versus Green. I think it's a matter of if he's scoring runs. He's got Test hundreds behind him, and if the opportunity comes up, the selectors feel that they need him in the side, they'll pick him. But at the moment, he's not in the squad. But that's not saying that he won't be further down the track. He's keep enjoying your cricket, keep performing, putting your name up by scoring runs and taking wickets. That's all he can do.
Matt?
Yep, I'll pause you there because that item is now closed at $600 for the Shaun Marsh shirt. Nath, Ray, thank you so much. $600, which is brilliant. And so we go to auction item number 3, which will now be open until we shut up shop in 20 minutes. Mitch, the World Cup glove. I mean, that's very kind of you to hand off these gloves. You don't want to keep them yourself?
No, it's all good. Throughout my innings, I changed between 3 gloves, so all of them had plenty of sweat and potentially a bit of beer at the end, so I'm sure they'll be fairly smelly and hopefully smell like winner's piss.
Don't tell me that there are 3 versions of them, mate, because they'll all be gone tonight. Jimmy, sorry, I'll let you finish up, and then we've got a bunch of questions.
You've probably got a few punters out there who'd like to ask the boys a question. I was just, while we're just tailing off on the victory celebrations and everything from that T20 performance, what was the song you were singing?
In the change rooms, it's called Freed From Desire. I have absolutely no idea where the song comes from, but I first heard the Italian football team won the Euros early on in the year, and they were singing it on their team bus, basically exactly as we were after they won. So for me, it sort of progressed from there, and then once we started winning a few games in the World Cup, we just started putting it on in the change rooms, and then we put it on the bus, and those sorts of things. Playing cricket, we're professional sportsmen. It's what we do for our job, and but to get in the change room after a game and have songs like that, that's why you play. That's why I play. I love getting in the change rooms after a win and getting around the lads. So it's pretty rare that you share stuff that happens in the change rooms, in the inner sanctum, as people say. But I shared that because I just wanted Australians to see that, at the end of the day, we're just normal blokes. And it doesn't matter what level of cricket you play for the enjoyment of the game and to get in the change rooms with your mates and have a beer and enjoy yourself. So, there was plenty of carry on that night, and that song got played a lot.
Yes, well, it was wonderful that you were sharing it with everybody. I mean, they allowed the cameras to come in, obviously, and I think everyone enjoyed the spontaneity of the victory celebration. Really good.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Righto, Matt, we want to hand over to some of our viewers, listeners, whatever, for a question or two.
Look, there are plenty of questions. Yes. They all run to certain themes, so we'll start them off as well. Nick Faulkner leads the bidding, 750 went bam. So thank you so much. Hey, Josh has bid 50. Josh, let us know how old you are, because always happy to help out people as well who are just looking to throw in any dollars that they can. Of course, if you're a 35-year-old professional, you're going to have to go much higher. But if you're a 10-year-old, it's a great bid. All right, let's go to the questions. Follow-up question from Greg, and it followed on from something that Jim asked, but I'd like you to answer as well, Jim. Who should be the next vice captain of Australia? Because this has certainly caused some controversy. We'll start with Geoff. Once again.
Yeah, so me. Yeah. Who should be vice captain?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see Steve vice captain. I'd like to see Paddy captain and Steve Smith as vice captain. and just to give him that little bit of experience and support. Both come from the same state. They know each other really well. So I think Stephen could play a really big role in Paddy with his name captain and just pass on that experience.
Sure. Shaun?
Yeah, probably similar to Dad. I think Steve would be a great choice. I also think someone like a Marnus Labuschagne as well. I think what he's done over the last couple of years, the way he's performed, has been outstanding. And I think just knowing Marnus and how much he loves the game and how much he's grown as a player, I think he'd be a great vice captain as well. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably go Steve Smith just to help Paddy out. Smithy was a great captain. When I played with him, and I think he's got a lot of experience there to sort of guide Paddy in the right way, especially early doors in an Ashes series.
Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, probably the same couple of answers there for me. Yeah, I imagine it'll probably go to Steve Smith or probably a Marnus at this stage. So did put my hand up, and Paddy reminded me that I'm not in the team. So yeah, that went out the window pretty quickly.
And Jim, do you think the public will be okay with it?
Yeah, I think it's the obvious way to go. It could get more interesting down the track if something were to happen to Pat Cummins, but the team would be in good hands. So I think at this point it's the obvious way to go in terms of the structure and experience in the team. But yeah, we'll see what happens as we move on. Fascinating era of Australian cricket ahead of us, if not a fascinating Ashes with, and we haven't talked about it at this stage. I don't know whether the boys want to talk about the potential influence of that match-winning cricketer, Ben Stokes. My God. Headingley. Who could forget that? Yes. Do you think he adds 50% or thereabouts to the English team? Just his influence on their confidence, apart from what he does as a player. Geoff?
Well, I think the thing about Ben, he hasn't played cricket for a long time.
Yeah.
He's been out of the game for a long, long time. And, I know that they've got a couple of practice matches before the first test match. So I think that'll be the interesting thing, is to see how he performs after such a long break. But we all know what a terrific cricketer he is, and such a competitor. And you're 100% right. He adds so much to that England team to have a quality all-rounder in the side. So it's fantastic that he's come out. That's number one. We want him to have a good series, but not a great series. Put it that way.
Yeah. Come on, boys. Shaun?
Yeah, again, pretty similar to that. I think it's great for cricket, great for the public to be able to go and watch someone like a Ben Stokes. I think back in 2017, they really missed him not being out here. And I know he hasn't played a lot of cricket over the last 6 months, but he's a world-class player, and I've got no doubt come the first test that he'll be ready to go. There'll be plenty of practice matches and training sessions for him to get right, and I think it certainly bodes well for a really good Ashes series with him in it.
Mitch?
Yeah, look, incredible player. Funny story for you, Jim. At Headingley, when he had that amazing partnership, I was 12th man. Well, yeah. I was probably 15th man actually in that game. But obviously we had him 9 down with 100 to win, and I pride myself on my 12th manning duties and making sure the boys are prepared. So once we took the 9th wicket, I went up to the change rooms. I emptied the cartons of beer and I put them in the bathtub in the change rooms, and I had filled up with ice. The beer's ready to go, and hour and a half later, we were drinking waters and Powerades in the change rooms, and it was dead silence. So cricket's a funny game, but there's no doubt that England are a very good cricket side, and they're an even better side with Ben Stokes. So as fans of the game, you want to see the best players playing, and to have someone like him, it's a huge draw card for the series, and it's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah, sure will be. Okay, so I interrupted the
Not at all. Not
viewers'
at all.
questions.
Don't be silly.
Let them go. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Matty Wilmer is clearly a big fan of you guys. Stayed up to watch the final. He says, Mitch, congratulations. He says, Shaun, can you please stop smashing the Redbacks each time you play us? But his main question is, what's your favourite innings that you ever played for Australia?
Is he talking to me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's hard to go past Adelaide in the Ashes day-night test match when I got 100 there. Sort of coming back into the team when I probably thought maybe playing for Australia was probably maybe past me. I still believed that I was good enough to come back into the team, but to be selected, and I think I got 50 in the first test match, and then we went to Adelaide and I got 100 there. Was no doubt probably my favourite innings for Australia.
Okay, next one goes to Geoff. What was John Inverarity like as an opening bat to bat with?
John, he was actually slower than me. So
He was.
Yeah, no, John Inverarity is the god of West Australian cricket, and fantastic bloke and a very, very good cricketer. He was a little slow, but as I said, great cricketer. Won a lot of Sheffield Shields, and he moulded a really great side in the Dennis Lilly, Rod Marsh era.
Okay, this one from Greg, and there's plenty here, so we'll just try to roll through them, but by all means, anyone can chime in. I'll let whoever answers first answer first. Who in the family comes up with the best excuses as to why they got out for a low score on a flat track?
Probably me, to be fair. No, I don't know if Swampy had any excuses back in the day, but I'm probably going to say I've probably been dismissed more than both of them put together, certainly in Test cricket. So I'd have to say me.
Shaun, is more of a serious one. You had a season at Yorkshire. Was the culture really as it's being portrayed in the media?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. Look, I was only there for a few months, and it's obviously sad to see what's been going on over there. Look, from my side of things, I never heard anything, with what's being sort of said, but look, there's definitely no room in the game for racism, and hopefully this is, been a really good education for everyone that we've got to stamp it out.
Sure. This one from Beryl, a question from my 15-year-old son, Peter, to Mitch, his favourite player. Can the Scorchers win the BBL this year?
I'm certainly hopeful that we can go one better. Yep. We're going to have a few challenges thrown at us this year. We're not going to have too many home games, unfortunately, due to the border restrictions. But I think the team that we've assembled is obviously fairly similar to last year. Laurie Evans is our new overseas batter. He's a new signing. He's going to be, he's got an incredible T20 record, and he'll be batting throughout the middle order. So, I'm going into this season really confident in our ability. We've got a lot of experience in our group. So, hopefully the Scorchers v Renegades in the final, and the Scorchers get up.
This one from, I'm a Sixers man, so you can all jog on. But Shawnee, a question from Luke. Justin Langer has copped it a fair bit in recent months. What was he like as a coach at the start, and was he really that bad?
I think it's definitely been blown out of proportion. I've known JL for a long time now, ever since I was a little kid, when Dad was playing for WA. Justin, Damien Martin, those sort of players were just coming through, and I always used to sort of hang out with them and pester them. So from a young age, I've known Justin very well. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He certainly got the best out of me when he was coaching Western Australia, and I'm very thankful for that. And look, he's very passionate, and I was so pleased for him to win a World Cup as a coach over the last few months. It's been outstanding, and hopefully he can get the boys up and ready to go for the Ashes.
A reminder, we've got a couple of minutes left on the gloves. $800 the current bid. Andy Wildblood, thank you so much. $800 the current bid, but a couple of minutes still remaining. Okay, let's continue to roll through. This one from Phil. Let's go with Mitch. What advice would you give your 12-year-old self as a younger player?
I mean, if we're talking football terms, probably work on my right foot as well as my left foot. I was a bit left foot dominant back in the day with footy, but from a cricket perspective, if I could tell my 12-year-old self, would be to never lose the enjoyment of the game and never lose sight of why you play the game. And I certainly think at times throughout my career, I've probably been guilty of that, and that's only ever been through just wanting it too much and trying too hard. But the game of cricket's there to be played and to be enjoyed. And, that's what I'd probably tell my 12-year-old self.
Have you watched the scene? I'm sure you get it mentioned a lot. It was sensational. The test where you're DJing in the change room, and then
yes, I have.
It is just the best scene in all of sports documentaries. Is that how it was, or did you know that was happening?
So, hand on my heart. I didn't know I was being filmed early on. So I was just, it was raining, and I mean, as a talk man, you go mental anyway. But certainly when it's raining, it's so boring in the change room. So I just started DJing a bit for the boys, and some of them were getting around it. Other guys, as you saw in the video, were literally just going, "This bloke's a muppet." And then about 3/4 of the way through, I actually realised that the bloke was filming, and it was pretty embarrassing, but it was all good fun. And then the part where JL comes in and I give it that one and I start playing as if I'm practicing my straight drive, that was just off the cuff. That just happened, right? And the bloke filming just happened to do it. Like, it was amazing. And JL didn't know that I'd done that until a team meeting when we showed the footage, and he was fuming at me, jokingly fuming at me, but it was all good fun.
That's so good. So good. It was pure sensation. All right, for Geoff, from Mark DeStephanis. He has a couple of contributions. One, he was in Antigua in 1999 to chat with you, and had a big night apparently that night. But his question was, what shot did you enjoy playing the most? He remembers your cover drives and square drives on the half volley sublime.
Yeah, I love the catcher, the cover drive, love that. But my favourite shot was the cut shot, because they after a while they work out that you're a very good driver. You don't get too many drives, so you got
to. Understanding that Hobart Wi-Fi is a couple of years behind the rest of us, so that's all good. We'll keep working through it. And another question for you, Geoff. With your sons in different BBL teams, if they play each other, who do you go for?
Well, I go for both. Look, it's a difficult one. I remember the first time they played against each other. I think for the whole family, it's really, really hard. But we're sort of used to it now, and we just sit there and we sort of win. So yeah, very, very tough to pick a team on that night.
Yeah. All right, we have a couple of minutes remaining. $800 remains the top bid for the gloves. So throw your last bids in now. We'll try to get through as many questions as quickly as possible. Shaun, regarding that test series with the shirt that you just signed in the Sydney Test, did you think we should have had a bat pad? That from Mark.
Sorry?
Do you think we should have had a bat pad in that Sydney Test?
Oh, I can't remember that. What's
Nathan Lyon? I think Nathan Lyon was bowling and Shane Warne was commentating, and he just kept going on about we need a bat pad.
Well, we probably should have, especially in at the SCG when it's a turning wicket. So maybe we should have.
This one from we'll go with From Nath. Mitch, how big was the night post the World Cup? Did anyone reach Flintoff levels from 2005?
Yeah, it was a large night. There's no doubt about that. It's yeah, some guys went, myself included, actually went straight through the plane. I mean, we didn't finish till late, but we certainly enjoyed ourselves. Yeah, there was a couple of best on grounds: Adam Zampa, Marcus Stoinis, Ashen Agar, Kane Richardson was outstanding.
Mitch Marsh.
Yeah, look, I was probably in the votes again. It was just a ripper night. There was so much relief and joy. It was the boys went hard.
And this one, so last minute, $800 the top bid. This one for each of you, and Jim included. Who wins the Ashes series? Obviously, you're Australian, so it's going to be hard for you to pick against. But floor is open because it's been asked by multiple people. Geoff, we'll start with you. Who wins the Ashes?
I think it's going to be a great series, but I think Australia will just be too strong. I think bowling is outstanding, and if we can score the runs, if we can get Davey Warner to continue the form that he's been in, he's critical to us. But I think just over, Nathan Lyon, Cummings, Hazelwood, Stark, Richardson, very, very good attack, and I think they'll put a lot of pressure on the English batters.
Shaun?
Yeah, I think the Aussies will win. I think just our depth overall compared to the English team is a lot better. I still think England have got some world-class players, but I just think Australia have got, across the board, too much depth for them, and I think we'll win.
Mitch?
Out of respect for Glenn McGrath, I'm calling a 5-0 Australia.
And Jim?
Yeah, I think Australia will win. So we'll collectively put the kiss on the map. But I think Australia will get 20 wickets more quickly than England. But Ben Stokes just throws that element in that could upset it somewhere and, make it a 2-1, 3-1 kind of margin. But yeah, I think Australia should win the series. But it's just.
Can I ask you, Jim? Because I won't ask the other guys. Do you think Tim Payne should keep in the first test?
Ooh.
You have to answer. Jim, do you think he will?
Yeah, I think he will.
Okay. That was either you didn't know it was to you or the most impressive pregnant pause I've ever heard in an interview ever. The most considered response. All right, here's where we are. So we're at $800 top bid. $750 was the second top. Now, Mitch, I'm not going to ask you to give 2 of your 3 pairs of gloves from that landmark knock. But we've got 2 big bids here, and I'd hate for some money to go on the table. Is there anything else from that final, similar to a pair of gloves, that we might be able to throw Nick, who bid $750 and came in just short?
I'm happy to give another pair of gloves for sure. No stress at all. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, $750. We'll make it $750 for both. And Andy, if you want to go to $800, you're clearly good for it. So you can do that. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of it. It's such a pleasure to get the 3 of you here.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure. Very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for having us, guys.
Thanks for your time. Very generous of all of you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Matt.
These series, Jim, which is awesome, have already exceeded the results from last year, and we're only 3 in, and we have some big ones still to come. I'm really excited about the next one, which is the commentators call. Mark Taylor, yourself, and a yet to be confirmed, but there's about 15 of them to come over, UK commentator as well. We're going to be doing that one on the 21st to the 12th. That's going to be a lot of fun. I encourage everyone to already start to register $50, as we know. But thank you so much. We'll let you guys go and Mitch continue your quarantine. And Shaun and Geoff, thank you so much. Gents, really appreciated. And of course, a big thank you to our sponsors who make it possible. Focus Communications, Ponting Wines, the Entertainment Quarter, on behalf of the Primary Club of Australia. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.